So why don't we go ahead and get started? I just want to start off, of course, by saying cheers to everyone for joining. Thank you guys so much for coming on today. I look forward to these calls, and I get so much out of them, and I hope that you guys gain value from the calls as well that we do every Wednesday. If you're going to be in the area where there's a lot of background noise, if you can mute yourself, I do want to do a screen share with you guys in about 10 or 15 minutes. There's a video that my wife introduced me to today, and I definitely want to share it with you guys because I think it will help. So before we get started, I want to find out, does anyone have any good news that they want to share? I was hoping Michelle would be on the line so she could share something. Anybody else have any good news?
I do.
Hey, what's up, Patty?
So I had that listing in Allendale, that townhouse, and I sent out the just listed cards.
Yep.
And I changed the verbiage. You know how the verbiage is automated, but you can change the verbiage on that postcard, and I did, and I made it something amazing. Anyway, so I'm in ShopRite. I'm very stressed. I'm wearing a mask. I can't breathe good. I see the line is about 100 people long to get to the cashier, and I'm really pissed off. And my phone rings. I'm like, of course, my effing phone rings right now. I'm like, yeah. And it's some guy who, God bless him, English isn't his first language, and he's wearing a mask because what I'm hearing is they're somebody talking like this. I'm like, I can't hear you. I'm so sorry. I can't hear you. And he's like, I got a postcard of yours. I'm like, okay. He's like, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what do you want? And he said, I flipped a house at this address and I got your postcard and I'm wondering if you wanted to come see the house, maybe list it.
Beautiful.
Wow. Like,
Wow.
Hi. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. How are you?
Wow, that's awesome.
It's around the corner from my
that.
parents' house. And I purposely was farming my parents' street in Allendale and all the neighbors that I know. And this person foreclosed on their house. This guy bought it, flipped it. He goes, I don't know nothing about Allendale, so I'm wondering if you could come talk to me, tell me a little bit, give me an idea of what the house is worth. And if I like you, you list it. I'm like, what day could I be there? So like we set up the time I'm going to go Monday and go take a look at it. But I was so pissed off. I'm like, who the fuck's calling me right now in the middle of ShopRite? And I didn't answer like, hi, Patty Gurney. I was like, yeah.
Right.
I love you, Patty. I really do.
I love it.
Patty, I love that you did that, and I love that that's working for you. Let me ask you a question. Do you have more of those postcards? Did you order an abundance of those?
No, I didn't know you could. I thought you just ordered them and they went to addresses you picked.
You can actually have them go to addresses, or you can have them send you the postcards directly, depending on what company you use. And so my strategy with the postcards, I have them delivered to my house. And when I had a FSBO or an expired that's in my pipeline, I would write them a note. Hey, I just listed another house. Are you ready for me to list your house yet? Hey, I just sold another home. Is your home still available? And I would send it directly to the FSBO and to the expires with a handwritten note from me. And so I would encourage you to get some more of those. Just buy some from any company, just listed cards, have the picture, have your information, and use those to send notes out to the people in your pipeline. Because these expired FSBOs, they want to find people who are busy and doing work. And by sending out these postcards to them, you're showing them that you're listing and selling property. And so, it was a strategy for me that really worked.
Okay, smart.
Yeah. Handwritten notes are always preferable. It's a great way to open up somebody a little bit more to what you're doing.
Yeah, because they're going to take the time to read it. It may take 5 seconds, but they're going to read it. And if it's on the postcard, it's a quick read.
Right.
So this call today, I really felt that I needed to make this call a little different. You know, it's called a conversation about scripts, and that's really for us to talk about scripts and objection handling, and we will have a place for that. We will do that tonight. However, all this week I've been talking to people, and all I've been hearing is things aren't going well. I don't feel good about what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything. And that's been a constant theme that I've been hearing from so many people, right? And so my wife introduced me to this guy. He is a coach. He works with athletes, and he really works on this stuff right here, our mindset. And I started watching some of his videos, and when I tell you, they spoke to me. They really, really spoke with me. And I don't share a lot of things like this with you guys, but when I do share it, it's because it resonates with me, and I think it's the message that we need to hear. And so I was going to wait to do this. However, I think it makes more sense to show this video right now, and then we can have some conversations about how that hit us and what we need to start doing differently moving forward so that we can start getting some different results. So if you guys can just mute your phone, I'm going to share my screen, and I just want to share this video. It's 5 minutes. I promise you the 5 minutes will have an impact if you really plug in and listen to it. So let me go ahead and do that right now.
So many people think the self-help industry is about things you do. I think one of the things that makes athletes so incredible is what they're willing not to do, what they're willing not to say, what they're willing not to eat, what they're willing not to consume, what they're willing not to watch. Nobody wants to be told to be positive. Positive thinking is probably the number one reason this industry has not grown in my 44 years of living. Positive thinking, in many cases, repulses people. You're telling me to be positive and I'm going through a divorce. You're telling me to be positive and I got this current situation. You're telling me to be positive and I got this health situation. So then what's the alternative? Well, the alternative has always been negative. When you look at the human performance, you look at nutrition, you look at strength and conditioning, you look at fatigue science, you look at all these different things. Coach Saban believed that there had to be some emphasis on psychological education. Well, most people think of sports psychology as treating somebody who has a problem. Nick Saban didn't look at it that way. He looked at how do we make our best players better. So ultimately, psychologically, we had to come up with a plan for everybody. What we learned was that negative thinking was the most powerful element that our players were combating. That negative thinking was weaponizing them against them. So how's negativity carried? Well, is it your internal thoughts? Well, if you're dealing with trying to change internal thoughts, then you got to go to affirmations and you got to go to imagery, you got to go to visualization. Very difficult skills. Well, we started to look at the externalization. Well, if somebody says something out loud, it's 10 times more powerful than if they think it. And then as we started to study the data, particularly data that was just reinforced by Christine Porath from Georgetown and Harvard, that negativity is a multiple of 4 to 7 times more powerful than positivity. So think about that. If I say something out loud, it's 10x. If it's negative, it's 4 to 7 times more powerful. So when I say negative things out loud, it's 40 to 70 times more likely that that will happen or cause a result that won't be good for me than if I just didn't say anything. And this is what I want people to understand. Your internal thoughts are all over the place. There's another great story that I saw from a magazine called Success Unlimited in 1973. A guy is hired to fix a refrigerated boxcar in back of a train. He goes into the train, he panics, gets himself locked inside the boxcar. So now he's pounding on the door, there's nothing to do. He starts to panic and thinks he's going to freeze to death. He finds a pen, he starts writing down, Tom, what's going through his mind, and he writes down, I'm becoming colder. As people, one of the things we do to ourselves is observe and report. I'm not playing well. I'm having a bad day. We're having a bad quarter. My marriage isn't going well. We observe and report. Still colder now, he writes, nothing to do but wait. Half asleep, I can hardly write. Finally, he says, these might be my last words. And I'll show you the article. They open up the boxcar many hours later and they find him and he's dead. But the temperature inside the boxcar was 56 degrees.
That's so crazy.
The freezing apparatus was broken. There was plenty of air in the boxcar. There was no physical reason for his death. The best they could say is somehow he talked himself into dying. So negativity is the most powerful thing we're combating. Look at our politics today. A positive message versus a negative message. It's no chance. Just if you follow the data and you say stupid shit out loud, ultimately you're predicting and perpetuating exactly what you don't want to have happen. You're always in control of what you say. People say, yeah, but I can't. The thinking, everybody's fucked up in the thoughts. I've been with people the night before Super Bowl, the night before national championships, 8 different times where the doubt's there, but we're not externalizing it. If a car's going backwards, it can't automatically go forward. So it has to shift into neutral. and then it stops. And at that point, you can either go forward by changing your behavior, or you can go backwards by doing the same stupid shit you were just doing. Russell Wilson's 5'10". He shouldn't be playing pro football, but he behaves like the best quarterback in the country, and he's done that since before he was at that level, and then his feelings and emotions and his skill caught up to that behavior. Your behavior is what's going to change you, but you also have to start by asking yourself, what do I want, and why do I want it? Why don't I have it? What am I willing to do to get it? Don't say stupid shit out loud. Be mindful of what you consume. If I watch 3 minutes of news that increases my probability by 27%, I'm going to say I had a shitty day, right? When I was going through, a divorce, I had a lawsuit, I had some health challenges, all these different types of things. If I'm listening to Jake Owen or Sam Hunt, I love New Country, but New Country makes me just want to go run and jump off a cliff. It makes me think I'm never going to meet another girl ever again in my life, which I hope is not true. What are the things that are in our control? What we watch when we get home, what we listen to when we're in our car, who we talk to when we get on our cell phone, and what we say out loud always as we speak. And I think that those are the powerful things, and ultimately our behavior is what's going to define our success. So many people think the self-help industry is about things you do. I think one of the things that makes athletes so incredible is what they're willing not to do, what they're willing not to say, what they're willing not to eat, what they're willing not to consume, what they're willing not to watch. What are 5 things you cannot do right now that will instantly make your life better?
Did that hit anybody? Did that resonate with anybody?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I love that. Too.
Powerful, man. Powerful
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, hold on a second.
It's so good.
No, it's definitely a great message. And let me just close out of YouTube because it's going to keep playing videos. So let me just exit out of that. It was a solid message that really spoke to me. And I felt like I had to share that with you guys. And the reason why I wanted to share that, there's been so much negative talk lately. Every time I get on the phone with someone, things aren't going well. I don't know why I'm not getting appointments. I don't know why I'm getting listings. I don't know what to say. People aren't working with me. I don't feel like I'm ready. And it's so negative, and we're speaking that out loud. And so when I heard those stats, I don't know if those stats he gave us are true, but he says the impact of negative thoughts are more powerful than positive thoughts. And I'm seeing that manifest every day when I'm talking to people on the phone. So I know it's true. I don't know if the figures he gave are true, but I know the message is true. And then I look at someone like Patty. Patty, your affirmation, tell us again what your affirmation is.
I am a listing magnet. Listings come to me.
And she's been saying that as my bold pivot partner since we started. She added to it. But guess what just happened to her today?
I'm getting a listing.
She's getting a listing, and it came to her. The guy called her. And so we can talk negative about all the things that aren't going well. However, if we speak into existence what we want and we affirm it, look at what's happening. So go.
Sorry. Yeah, when we talked, when I first told you my affirmation, I wasn't done with it, and I wasn't feeling it, and you helped me add that little bit. Like, I said it to you, like, I am a listing magnet, and then I was just saying like listings come to me, and you're like, that should be your anchor. And then when I started saying it and looking in a mirror saying it, it made a difference. Like, I actually look in the mirror, go, I'm a listing magnet. Listings come to me, and now I say it and the guy calls me. I'm like, what? Oh, sorry, the listing is coming to me. I ask and God's giving it to me. I'm like, what the fuck do you want?
That's awesome.
You know, Patty, I love that. And I know there were several times I was taking the BOLD program, and my affirmation, it was long, but it was, I need to make more phone calls so that I can book appointments, because when people meet me, they want to work with me. And that was my affirmation. It was like my whole point of me making the calls was to actually get the appointments, because I know if I sit down with you and you have motivation to sell your home, you will want to work with me by the time we're done talking. I just need that opportunity. Like, over the phone, maybe I can't convince you. If I can get in front of you and sit down with you and talk belly to belly, I can get you to work with me. And so that was my affirmation. And so I would get on the phone and I would book appointments. And then I would go sit down and meet with people, and I got more listings when that was my mindset.
It's amazing what can happen. Like when you really convince yourself that these things are factual right now, current tense,
Yeah.
present
Yeah.
tense.
Yeah. So on that video, he was saying, what do I want? And what am I willing to do to get it? And it just seems so simple after hearing him talk. Like, we just need to change how we're talking to ourselves. Like, we're our worst enemy. We talk so negatively to ourselves that we start to believe that we can't do it, like that we're not good enough.
Right.
And I know most of you guys, and I know that we've had training, and some of us are new to the business. However, some of the people I'm talking to, and I'm not pointing anyone out, just a general message, they're saying like, I don't know what to say. And in my mind, I'm like, you do know what to say, but you keep telling yourself that you don't know what to say. You're starting to believe it. And then you aren't saying the right things to get the opportunity. These people are on the phone with us and they're ready to work with us. We just, in our mind, we've psyched ourselves out. All of us, we're in this rut where we believe we're not good enough and we don't know what to say. We do know what to say. And I think just from watching that video, I'll send it to everybody. You guys should watch it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
The affirmations are important, but like he said in that video, our negative thoughts are more important and more powerful than our positive thoughts. So if we just stopped the negative talk, we may think it, but when we verbalize it and we say it out loud, it's much more powerful. And so if there's one thing that we could do is stop verbalizing that and start speaking more of the positive affirmations. That's what I got from that one video. So I had to share that with you guys. And thank
I
you
love
for
it.
minutes.
Me too.
I swear that I'm immune because I say that to myself every morning.
You just
I
said
would-
something negative. You just said like, I'm immune because I say it, but it's not working. Like you say it's not working, but it's not working.
Hey, this
You
is
know what I mean?
Michelle. She's on the call, but she wanted to say
Michelle!
hi.
Michelle.
Finally get to meet
Michelle.
Michelle.
Drinking. Can we do a toast? I have wine somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
Cheers. Nice to see everybody.
Okay,
Cheers.
Rob, Nina. I was like, I can always count on Hazel. She's my
Are
drinking
you
buddy.
guys still in Martha's Vineyard?
That's
Yes.
awful. That's not good.
That is good, but you're
Good
not a
for
beer
you.
drinker.
Good for you.
She doesn't know good beer. So
But I do know good wine.
There you go.
Ah.
Got it, girl.
well, Lana has this nice water wine that she
Who's drinking tequila? I heard somebody say
That's
that.
Hazel.
Yeah.
Nice.
Here's my clear glass of wine.
That is hilarious.
That's not good.
That's actually water that came out of my wine bottle.
Oh.
Bad,
What?
bad.
I
You
wanted
had water
guys to
coming
meet
out
my
of your
better
wine
half and
bottle?
Say hello. Sorry.
Yeah,
Alright.
when I went to fill up my glass with wine from the half full bottle of wine in my refrigerator, I poured it and I thought, wow, that looks really clear. Does wine lose its color? And then I tasted it and it's water. So somebody in my house drank the wine and filled the bottle with water.
Oh, that's
Do you have
What an
underage
idea.
kids
That's
in your
great.
house?
Probably did that when I was 16.
All right,
I have one daughter. She's 15.
There you go.
Sounds about right.
That's a conversation for another day.
yeah.
Yeah, not today.
All right, sorry. I wanted you guys to say hello. So sorry, I know we interrupted the flow, but I wanted you guys to say hi
That
to
was
Michelle.
nice. I'm glad we
That
got
was
to meet
nice.
you.
Yeah.
Nice to see her.
Yeah, so we'll talk about. We just had that video. It was talking about mindset. A lot of people have had some really good success. Earlier today, we were talking about Mina. She booked 5 appointments. And Mina, I don't know if you want to talk. I don't want to put you on the spot, but there was something that you and I talked about. The first step was convincing people to actually meet with you, right? So you've gotten that down where you're getting appointments. What do you think needs to start happening now?
I
What
need
can
to
you share?
qualify them better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before the appointments, if I pre-qualify, I work on the pre-qualification, I think I can get there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So all the things again, like things that we know we need to be doing, she's perfected getting people to meet with her. And now she's at a point where she needs to start perfecting the pre-qualification.
David, look
Yeah.
behind you. What's that big
Yeah.
bird
Yeah.
that just
Looks like
landed on?
Like a deer.
What is that? I'm sorry.
It's a big ass turkey. Look at this thing.
I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Thought it was a vulture.
And listen, so
Hoping for Thanksgiving.
the turkeys,
Hold
they
on.
have this gullet here and it's really red and they're mating right now. So the male turkeys is really red and throbbing and they're chasing the females across. It's like a gang fight. Like all these turkeys are fighting each other. And then we have a pair of bunnies in the front yard and they're like doing kung fu, jumping up and kicking each other. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm
That's
sorry
great,
to
though.
interrupt. I just want to make sure that you
was
were
great.
safe and screened in because I'm like, that is a
That's great.
giant bird. That
It's
just
a vulture.
Oh, you're not at the zoo?
It's a big bird, and I actually went to a place out here and had some Caribbean turkey wings, and then I'm looking at these birds like I got dinner right out here in the front yard.
That's great.
I'm having a
Make
good time
great
out here if
pictures.
you can't tell. Having a
You make
great
great
time.
pictures for you.
Oh, I have a few.
Oh, great.
I've taken so many pictures already, probably 1,000 since Saturday, man. I've been
Oh,
snapping away.
that's great. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good place.
So David,
is.
I wanted to share that part of changing my affirmation. I'm working on my affirmations, but part of it, which it was a very simple thing I started doing, which it was not even my idea, it was my son's idea. I said to him, I have a really hard time waking up to the alarm in the morning. And just the beeping sound of the alarm puts me in a mood that I just don't want to wake up to. So unbeknown to me, he grabbed my phone and he changed my alarm to a song. My son and I have a very special connection to the song, the Beatles, "Here Comes the Sun."
Yeah.
It's a song that is very private between my son and I. And he changed. He went on my phone, and every single morning I wake up to "Here Comes the Sun." And just by doing that, I wake up so much better. I feel like, okay, here comes the sun, no matter what. So even doing little things like that can put you in a whole different mindset as well.
Yeah,
But that's
absolutely.
even like what the guy said on that video. It's like if you surround yourself with all this negativity, the news and all this negative music and negative stuff, your son got you starting the day with something positive that's special to you. Like
Yeah.
that proves the point.
Do you all realize one thing? Here Comes the Sun is the song that they play every time someone gets released from the hospital surviving COVID-19.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
I didn't know
that.
that.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's
Yeah,
a cool little
Very
fact
fitting.
there.
Yeah.
just
you know-
FYI.
No,
No, it's
thank
a good one.
you for sharing
Great.
that. You know, Hazel, the other thing though that I don't know if you noticed when you were telling your story, your whole thought process about the morning was so negative,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So that song, I mean, that just changed everything for you. And now you're excited about getting up.
And the thing is, the funny thing is, I wake up a few minutes before the alarm, and I know that song is coming on. So I just lay there, I wait. I know, I'm like, it's coming. So
Yeah,
it
look
just
forward to
changes
it.
your morning. It changed, like, just the sound of that beep of my cell phone going off. That one little change, and he didn't tell me he changed it. He just did it. He didn't warn me ahead of time.
Wow.
And when I woke up to that song, I went, oh my God, I love this kid more than anything.
Yeah. What a,
You know,
what
it
a,
was just like I woke up with a big smile on my face, and when he woke up, I went, "You did that." I'm like, "Thank you." You know, like he had this smile on his face. Little things changed my entire morning. Like that.
he really showed his love for you. He really
Yeah.
showed his love for his mother, which,
He
you know,
loves his mama.
that's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, one thing I realized that I don't see a lot of anymore, and it was one thing we did during Push that I want to get started again. We are not posting a lot of our success. I'm not seeing that. Like just Patty, what she shared with us about having this person call her and getting the listing. We need to really be focused on more positive. There's so much negative out there.
Right.
And that's one reason I'm always posting my pictures. I want to share beauty and show something positive. But we need to be sharing every win we have, no matter how big or how small. You get one listing appointment, you get a listing, even a freaking price reduction in this market, no matter what it is. If you have a win, we need to be sharing that. So for those of you who are in Bold Pivot, we have that group. For those of us in coaching, you have that group. There are places where you can share it. We need to be able to look at you, Hazen, Patty, and Mina, folks who are having success so we can see that, and it changes our mindset because we know if you can do it and you're our peer, that we can do it as well. So we need to start sharing more success. Yep.
You're right.
You're right.
I'm going to talk about some mindset here, and I
I
appreciate
have
it.
a good mindset.
I'm not saying that you don't. I'm not saying that you don't. You do. And I love that you're sharing the success that you're having because I think everyone needs to hear that type of success. And I'm seeing that out here. I'm seeing Ira walking around, showing off his new listing and having some activity there. I guess what I want to pivot to, because we only have about 30 minutes left, is what can we talk about that will make you guys choose to make different decisions when you wake up tomorrow morning around your business? I wish I had all the answers, and I don't. I just know that something different needs to happen. We're almost like what the guy talked about in the video, like, hey, you reverse, and to go forward, you have to go into neutral. And when you're in neutral, you have to make a decision to do things differently or keep doing the same old shit. And I feel like right now we're in neutral, and we have to make a decision how we're going to move forward. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's, revisiting your big why. I don't know if that's what it is. We need to talk about it because we need to do something different starting tomorrow, or else we're going to be out of business as real estate agents.
David?
Yes, Aaron.
This is going to sound strange, but I had gone to a hypnotherapist for a good amount of time, and for being down, feeling down. And he had made me visualize words, not just I can't, but words like frustrated, annoyed, think that annoys me. I'm so aggravated. This is so frustrating. Words like that, negative words, not just I can't, but having negative words in your everyday speech has a huge impact on how you feel. So he would have me in my mind visualize a chalkboard with words like frustrated, aggravated, annoyed, can't, and one by one in my mind erase those words from my vocabulary. And I've slipped out of that, but when I was doing that, my life, my perspective, was just lighter, a lighter, happier. So I thought about that on the video when he said about what you say. It's all around negative. There's so many negative words that we say, and we don't even realize we're saying them.
Yeah, the bigger thing I got from what you were just sharing, Aaron, is that when you were doing that visualization, your life was great. When we were all making our calls and booking appointments, things were great. And then we stopped doing the things that are working. Like that was working for you, Aaron. My question would be, why did you stop? When people were getting production and getting listings, doing the calls and doing the door knocking and setting appointments and being aggressive on the phone was working, and then we stopped. Why do we stop the things that actually work?
I can answer that question. For some people, they're scared to bother people who are going through the coronavirus. You don't know if they lost their job. You don't know if somebody in their household is sick. You don't know, what's transpiring in their life, and to start badgering them about, hey, you need to sell your house. You need to move.
That's
What's
it right
your
there,
motivation?
though. You hit it right on the head. I think a lot of us are thinking we're badgering them, like we're bothering them. And that's what we say to ourselves. I don't want to call anybody. I'm bothering them right now. And that's a negative.
But you're not.
Well,
we are not.
I the other day I called a client. I started in the business 2015. And I called a client from 2016. And my only reason was to be like, I have time now. So I figured I'd call people, and I haven't spoken for a while. I didn't want to approach real estate unless he did. I first said, what's your job? What's your family like? And then at the end, he's like, so how's everything? Like, it's all right. I almost like blew it off, but I'm like, he's like, well, we're not going to move anytime soon. But he's like, and we are kind of interested in refinancing a few lenders. And I was like, that's fantastic. But I'll tell you, before I made that call, it was like, he's going to be, why are you calling me? Like, we haven't talked in 4 years. Need for me. My demon, two, like
kind of breaking up.
Oh, hold on. Let me try to get off this. So, Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I have I have two voices in my head. One's like, don't call him. One says, call him. One says, don't call him. I've got nine voices in my head. So, so I eventually made that. And then it gave me the momentum to call a lot more. I'm more willing to call people I've even met once in an open house 3 years ago than I'm willing to call an expired. Because at least there's a little bit of contact there.
Yeah.
And through that, I probably made like 30, 40 calls. And I've sent, a few of them send referrals. I've sent lenders to for refinancing. So it's turned pretty good.
Right.
It's very like lukewarm lead, but with the
What
virus,
the heck is going on out there?
with the virus, I felt like, they're going to think I'm calling about real estate, but I fought through that and it turned out to be pretty successful.
Well, here's the thing, though, Raj, and this is the thing. If I could give one message, and I know I've said it before, but there are some new people on here. We are real estate agents, and we have a job to do. And it's funny. I was talking to my wife about her company, and all the employees that work for J&J Pharmaceuticals, they're getting a paycheck, right? Every 2 weeks, they get a paycheck. If they don't feel like working today and they take a sick day, they still get a paycheck. Us independent contractors, if we don't go out there and do our job every day, we don't get paid. And so, yes, we have to understand that we're in the middle of a state of emergency. However, people still need to buy and sell houses. And so it's okay for us to say, hey, I'm calling to see how you are, and to also let you know that I'm still working. There are plenty of people that need our help right now. They need to sell and buy, and they don't know how to navigate this market we're currently in. So I just wanted you to know that I am working, and if you know someone that needs my help, please reach out to me. Who would be offended by that?
All right.
I get the hot sheets every day, and I'm like, things are still selling. Things are still active.
Yes, they are.
Initially thought like, okay, so we're driving down this road. I'm going to do my business as normal, go to open houses every Saturday, do one Sunday, get my leads, get my referrals to buy. I'm like, okay, it all stopped. No, it really didn't. Well, it stopped for me, but that's a cop out. That's an excuse.
Right.
It didn't stop.
Listen to what Susan's doing. It's not stopping for Susan.
That's right. And Raj, can I have your permission to kind of use you as an example?
Sure.
I'm not going to have you do the script, so don't worry about that. But I just wanted to touch on something you said. I always say this, and I think Hazen and I were talking about this previously, but our income is in direct proportion to our ability to have difficult conversations with people. And so I look at the choice you made. You decided to make calls, and you decided to choose to call somebody you met 2 or 3 years ago at an open house versus an expired right now or FSBO right now. And if you were willing to maybe be a little uncomfortable, but call that person that really needs your help, where the conversation may be a little uncomfortable, but they actually could hire you right now because we know they have their hand raised. Those first sell by owners and expireds are saying, I have a home to sell.
Yeah.
So we are bypassing those people to call people from 3 years ago.
It made me feel good that I'm doing activity.
Yeah.
Real activity. What is that? Motion's not achievement. Movement's not
Yeah,
achievement.
don't mistake movement for achievement.
So it's like, oh, I worked today. I call people. But did I make $1? No, I didn't.
Yeah. And you call people, again, I'm not doing this to beat up on you. You were playing it safe. And you had a conversation with somebody, and it might turn into something. However, there are people right now that have to sell their home that we can identify. We don't have to play the guessing game. We don't have to go dig in the crates. We know people right now that have to sell their home. And why are you choosing not to call them?
I do a very few FSBOs a day. I should triple the numbers, 10x the numbers. So I called the FSBO today. And he's like, no, you're calling. And he goes, the ad specifically says no realtors. And I was like, okay. I go, are you paying commission? He goes, no, the ad says I'm not paying commission. I go, okay, what's your timeline for interviewing agents? He goes, well, it's a few weeks, but I have one in mind. But and I'm like, okay, so no realtors, but you have one in mind.
Right.
So, they don't know what you're doing. I got to obviously 10x my calls. I do very few a day.
I gave Raj a run for his money today on our role play.
But it's you. the kind of calls we need. Like when you and me were role playing, I don't want like a wimpy call so we make each other feel good. It's supposed to be a real call.
I legit just hung up on him. Like
That's real role play, right? It happens. People get hung up on. So I think that's fine.
She said, like, I'm thinking about it. I'm taking it off the market. I might sell it by myself. All right. Please don't ask me, if you want a 15-minute Zoom consultation. Thank you. Bye-bye. And I'm like,
but he was left like, no, I said, like, look, I'm taking a month off. This we were doing expired. And I said, call me at the end of June and then we can talk. I'm not talking to anybody right now. I'm sick of realtors calling. I'm taking a month off. And he was like, and I went click.
Okay. So Hazel, I like what you just said right now because that's real. That's what we get from expireds. I want you to say that again, and I want somebody on this call to step up and role play with Hazel and role play that out. Hazel is the seller. It can be anybody, but I want you to role play that out quickly with Hazel and book the appointment. Go ahead, Hazel.
I'll do it.
Oh, I'm Rita. Oh, I didn't even notice you were on the call. Go ahead now. There we
I
go.
only joined a few minutes
All
ago.
So,
all right, go ahead.
Look, my house just expired. I'm taking a month off. I have all these realtors calling me. I'm not looking to list right now. I am willing to talk about to interview someone in about 4 weeks. So call me at the end of the month and then we can go from there. Right now, I need a break. I'm considering not answering my phone anymore.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry for all the calls you're getting. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If I had a buyer I'm sorry, did you say no?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so if I had a buyer who's willing to pay you a number that you would want, you still wouldn't be interested in selling it now, right? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
No, I would be interested in selling if someone literally puts a buyer at my door. But I'm not going through the listing, photograph, cleaning my house, showings. I'm not doing that. I need a break. All you guys keep calling and calling and calling, and it's frustrating. Talk to me in about 4 weeks.
Okay. I think what I'll do is I'm going to call you back in, like you said, in 4 weeks.
Yep.
But I do have, and I've spoken to people in your situation before, and I feel your pain because making that bed every day for showings that may or may not happen, for these people coming through your house, whether they're pre-approved or not, is beyond frustrating. So I hear you. I have a solution if you're interested in hearing it, which will possibly be of interest to you. And then if that doesn't work, then no problem. I'll call you in a month. You want to hear one of the solutions I've provided?
What's your solution?
So there's two-part solution. One is if you don't want to list your house right now and get these phone calls, there's one very simple thing I can do to eliminate the phone calls, and we still won't necessarily list it on the market. So that's going to solve one part of the problem that you're facing right now.
Okay, what is that?
So hold on, let me go to the second part and then I'll walk through what the solutions are. So the second part of your problem that you're telling me is that you do not want to clean it every day and have people come through your house, especially in the current environment. I wouldn't recommend that. If I listed your house to sell it, I wouldn't have people coming through your house. I would have you clean it once, just once, so that I could do those pictures, videos, Matterport, all these digital stuff that will showcase your house without people coming through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then you leave the rest up to me. The only time you're going to get a phone call is if that person has driven by your house, if that person has given me a pre-approval, if they've seen all the media I've posted and still want that house, they're going to look at the seller's disclosure you provide, and they're still okay with buying your house. And then we're going to do a Zoom call. Nobody is stepping foot inside your door. I won't allow it.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who's walking through that door is the one who's going to be serious enough to make an offer.
So you're saying I can put my house on the market and not have to show it at all?
100%. Not until they've crossed these.
Honestly, I don't know how that's going to give me the money I need. Like, I don't know how people are going to buy it that way. It's just crazy to me.
I thought the same thing. Okay, I've never lived through a pandemic like this before. But I was like, who is going to buy a house without seeing it, right? Mm-hmm. But there are clauses that we can put into place that can protect you and the buyer to go through this transaction without having to have 30 people go through your house. If you get that.
It sounds too good to be true, but honestly, I need a break. Let's talk about that in about 4 weeks. I think I would be open to listen to what you have to say and show me.
Okay.
But I just need some time off. Honestly, it's
Fair.
just been too much.
Okay, I hear you. Why don't I pencil something in, and why don't I book something where you and I can have a Zoom talk on June 1st? Is that a fair date?
Let's do the end of June. That would be better.
Okay. So the only thing I'll tell you about end of June, we're forecasting for a flood of listings to hit the market come the end of May, because states are going to start opening up. I'm taking 2 listings next week, which I didn't see coming. But these are people who are like, you know what, we've been waiting long enough. No more waiting. Let's do this. I want to get it done with. So you're just going to have more competition at the end of June. Is that okay with you?
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't want the competition, I would do it now. But I hear you that you're tired of this. And if the solution I've proposed is not enough, then you're going to have to deal with some competition come June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
If June 1st is too early, I think you're going to have to deal with a little bit more competition by the end of June.
Yeah.
I want to pause it really quickly.
Good stuff.
Good. It was good.
That was good stuff.
You're really good. You're telling a lot.
I know.
You're not asking her questions. And so I want to take it back to her saying, I want to wait 4 weeks, right? I want to wait until June. And then I want you to ask her some questions.
Okay.
I think you know where I'm going.
Yes. Okay. So what is going to change in 4 weeks for you?
Well, I think that comes, end of June, maybe, we're not going to be quarantined anymore. I'm going to get more buyers interested in my house. It's just that my other realtor said, with this COVID, it's just limited amount of people right now. And I do want to net the most money in my pocket. And I just think if we wait, people are going to be willing to buy. If we wait till the summer and, maybe not a lot of people are going to be sick. I just don't think this is the right time to sell.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're talking about making the most amount of money from the sale, right? That is what's important to you, correct?
Yeah. And I don't think right now there are a lot of buyers looking to buy.
Okay. Do you know that we're currently seeing multiple offers still in this current environment? Did you know that that was still happening?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So that is still happening. It's happened on 3 of my listings that I have in place.
Mm-hmm.
So the multiple offers basically works with the supply and demand equation. Do you know what that means for real estate when you have a supply and demand in the favor of a seller?
Well, then what does that mean? You get more.
So basically, you have supply, but there's not enough of it. There's too much pent-up demand. This pandemic has created a pent-up demand. And because there's not enough houses and a lot of buyers, you as a seller currently have leverage. So do you want to sell your house while you have leverage, or when you have so much competition that everybody and their mother is trying to sell their house?
Yeah, I hear you. It sounds like that's what my other agent said as well. And look here I am. My house didn't sell. So.
And why do you think it didn't sell? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are.
Well, COVID hit, and I think that affected.
Did you have a lot of offers prior to COVID?
I didn't have any offers.
Why do you think you didn't get any offers? Did you have enough showings, or did you get any feedback?
Doing open houses. She came every Sunday. I cleaned up, got out of my house, and no, not offers. No, I mean someone came in at super low, and I said no, so I didn't accept that.
Sure, I wouldn't either. And where are you planning on going once you do sell this house?
I'm downsizing and getting a smaller place. Just don't need a big place like this anymore.
Okay. Is your overhead cost a lot, or is it maintenance? What's driving you?
It's a lot of maintenance. I have extra bedrooms that I don't need. I have a big backyard. I'm just thinking maybe a condo would be the ideal for me right now.
And what was your intention on like time frame? When did you want to be done with this?
I wanted to be done by July, and I said on the it's in my house. I mean, why didn't you sell my house? That's a question I want to ask. Realtors keep calling, but where were you when my house was on the market? Why didn't you bring me a buyer? It's crazy. Everyone's like, I have a lot of buyers, but no one came through here. Just curious.
Sure. So, a realtor has to sell a house multiple times. If I were to list your house to get it sold, my only job is to make sure I am selling your house every day to either an agent who's going to bring a buyer and sell it to them, or I'm going to cold call the people around your neighborhood and find the buyer. I don't know if your agent did that. Did they do that for you?
I have no idea. She didn't communicate that.
So I think that's important to look at what a person can do to market your home.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the marketing strategies is that you have to sell it multiple times. I can't just list it on the MLS and sit back and wait for somebody to call me. That's not how it's going to work. So if you're interested, I would love to set up a time. We can just go through my marketing plan, nothing else. And then you can see for yourself whether you think it's worth your while or not.
Okay. I mean, just give me some, let me think about it. I like what you're saying. It definitely, I'm very interested in what you're saying. Let me think about it overnight. I'll call you in the morning and then maybe we can set something up. I just was not planning on having this conversation with anybody at this time.
Sure. No problem. Look, my goal is what my client's goal is. You want to get out of this big house. You don't want to pay that lawn guy the money you're paying. You want to downsize. Let me get you in that downsize. So I'll give you a call in the morning. You don't have to worry about calling me to remember that. I will call you. You just say yes or no. If you say no, we'll book the June 1st. And if there's competition, we'll deal with it. If not, we'll talk tomorrow.
Fine.
All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 10.
David was shaking his head. But you did such a great job. Oh my God.
Wow, that was awesome.
I was like,
Great, great job.
That was awesome.
Didn't back down.
Great job.
And you are so confident. Like you're such a confident person.
She's really good.
I'm great when I'm talking to other agents.
Of
But
course.
yes, I can't close the goddamn appointment. That's my problem.
So here's what I would just say to you. I'm like, you're going over all this stuff that sounds so freaking good. Like everything you said, I'm like, that's money. And I'm like, she doesn't even know why Hazel wants to sell her house, why it's important to her, what it will do for her. You don't know that. You didn't know that all the way until the end. And I believe if you just lead with that, it will open up where the conversation needs to go. And when I was saying ask questions, here's all I wanted you to do. I wanted you to say, like, Hazel, you said you wanted to wait 4 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's important to you about waiting 4 weeks?
I need a mental break. It's been too much. I want to enjoy one more month here without having realtors keep calling me. It's just, I don't think it makes a difference if I sell now or in 4 weeks. Honestly, it's not going to change anything.
What if you knew that it would make a significant difference on how much you could sell your home for? Would that change your mindset?
Yeah.
Well, let's look at it this way. So in 4 weeks, we're going to be what? Into June?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're probably going to have a lot of restrictions lifted from COVID. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. That's why I'm hoping if I just wait, I get more buyers.
See, that's exactly it, though. Every seller I'm talking to said exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Let me wait to put my house on the market because I think the market's going to be better. My question for you, Hazel, is if you do that and every other seller does the same thing, when you think about standard supply and demand, if everybody puts their house on the market at the same time and there's a flood of inventory, how does that affect what you can sell your home for?
Probably less. Yeah.
Are you going to be okay with that?
No, because I need to net a certain amount. And so no, that would not work for me.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a time for us to get together and talk. And listen, I'm not here to force you to make a bad decision. I want to give you enough information to make a great decision to get this property sold. And we're going to sit down either this evening or tomorrow evening and go over what needs to happen to get your home sold before all that other competition hits the market. Because you already said if that happens, you'll get less money.
Mm-hmm.
So I have today at 8 o'clock or tomorrow at 6 p.m. Let's have a conversation so I can get you the information you need. And then you can decide if waiting is the right thing or if you need to get your house on the market right now.
Let me think about it because I was thinking of using my state agent. Let me just think about it. And if I'm interested, I will give you a call tomorrow morning and we can set something up. So.
And listen, thinking about it, you're kind of like me. I always need to think things over. And here's what I have to tell you. I know when you think about it, if you're like most sellers I talk to, you're going to be calling me back and setting an appointment because you even said it yourself. By waiting, you're going to lose money.
Right.
Here's what I'm going to do. I have my calendar open right now. What tends to work better for you? Weekday evenings or on the weekend in the mornings?
Weekdays in the morning.
Weekdays in the morning. I'm going to go ahead and pencil you in right now so that I don't lose this space. And then what I want you to do tomorrow, once you think about it, if you change your mind, you call me and cancel that appointment. Fair enough?
Fair, that's fair.
So I have Saturday at 10, or I can do Saturday at 11:30. What time works best for you?
Saturday at 10 is good.
Saturday at 10. And if I sent you over some information, a packet of information on who I am and what I do to get property sold for you to read over, is that something you would do?
Sure.
Okay. So what's your email? I'm gonna get your email. Exactly. I'm gonna get your email and I'm gonna send it over to you. And I'm gonna say, Haza, I'm really excited to talk to you on Saturday. If anything changes, you call me back and we can always reschedule. However, I know that you want to get this property sold, and I know that you're frustrated because it was on the market for 6 months and it didn't sell, and you're tired of sweeping floors and making beds. I have a plan that can make that stop and get your property sold very quickly, and we'll talk about that on Saturday. In the meantime, read over the packet I sent to you, and we'll be prepared to talk on Saturday.
Sounds good. Easy, non-threatening.
So the questions, though, you told me as the seller, and Amrita, that's what I wanted you to get her to tell you, that if she waits, she's going to lose money. I didn't tell her that. She told me that. And I think that's the power of asking questions, is getting the sellers to tell us the information that we want to tell them. Because when Haza tells me she's going to get less money, it's fact. If I tell her it's just my opinion,
right?
She said it herself. And I believe that that's so much more powerful. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Because they can block you out too. Like they heard it all.
Right. Yeah. However, when they're talking, they're listening, though. They're listening to the words that are coming out of their mouths. They may be blocking us out, and that's why we got to get them to talk.
Yeah.
So why aren't we asking those questions? Like, Amrita, why do you think we don't ask those questions?
For me, I love to talk. It's a problem, and maybe I ramble more because I get nervous. So I think for me, it's just, you know how I trained myself on the scripts itself, like digesting them so that I could just speak it naturally. I need to wire myself to train myself to ask questions instead of say what I want to say. I feel like what I have to say is so freaking important and so good that you need to hear it. But these people don't need to hear anything. They need to tell me what I want. I need them to say what I want to say.
Well, I think what you say is so great. I mean, as agents, we're all hearing it. We're like, wow, that's awesome. The question is the seller listening to you?
Right. Oh, come on.
But I thought you did a really good job, and you said you got nervous. I'm like, where? I didn't see.
I know.
I didn't see it.
I mean, you were like, I would list with you. You're a good agent, so I don't know.
Me too. Me too.
And I just you're very confident too when you're talking. There's a sense of like, no, I know what I'm doing, so listen to me. That I was kind of like, okay.
Right. Well, and so there's a couple things that we talk about as well. Like I think Hazel was saying, well, I don't see how you can do that for me. I don't see how you can sell my house without showing it. And it's that whole feel, felt, found that we keep talking about in the morning mindset. Hazel, I understand why you might feel that way. I've had other clients that have felt that there's no way that we can sell their house virtually. However, what they found is that when we market the home correctly, we get more showings virtually than when we do an actual open house. And so we're able to expose your home to more people. And because we're able to do that, we're selling homes faster. And so it's just using that, hey, I understand how you feel that way. I've had clients that have felt that way. Here's what we found. If you can use those examples when you're talking to people, they plug in and listen.
My problem is that I end up, I struggle with taking high quality notes for myself because I'm trying to listen to them and what they're saying, conduct the conversation, and the notes are not as good.
Me
as
too.
I'm
Me
glad
too. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
That's why I love Vulcan 7, because when you call and you're prospecting to someone, the minute they answer the phone, the call is recorded and you can go back and listen to it and take notes. If you didn't write them down, you can go back and listen to the call. There are also apps you can get on your phone so that when you make a phone call, it's recorded.
Oh, that would be great.
Go back to it, you can go back and listen to it again.
Vulcan 7.
Cold water, no.
Tyler.
It's a phone dialer where it gives you for sale by owner and expired data, and you can actually it comes with the phone dialer as well. So every day you can log on, it tells you what the new expires, what the new for sale by owners are, and you can just start calling and it records the call. It's amazing. It's expensive, however, it's a great program.
So I had a listing presentation today, which the seller now canceled. This is the second cancellation. And Mina and I, we did our listing presentation practice because I had this appointment coming up. Sweet Mina kicked my butt, and she said, "I'm really glad it got canceled because it gives you some more time to practice." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad it got canceled because she beat me up." But I was so focused on what I was going to say next that I wasn't even listening to her. Mm-hmm. I was like, at one point I went, "I have no idea what you just asked." I'm like, "What? I'm sorry. I was not paying attention to you because we are so focused on what we need to say next, what our line is going to be that for me, I'm speaking to myself here. I'm not listening to the answer. I'm focused on what is my next thing to say."
Well, let me ask you one thing. Why did the appointment get canceled twice?
It's a divorce situation. The husband is not willing to sit with me yet, so it keeps getting canceled. Okay. They're also not open to any kind of virtual anything. So they want me there in person. So she called me yesterday to find out if I was feeling good, if I was healthy. And I said yes. And I asked the same question because, if I'm feeling good, she needs to be feeling good as well. And she just texted me to say, he's not ready. So this is now the second time.
Okay. And so are you asking questions around why he's not ready?
The problem, she did say to me yesterday, I just want to give you a heads up. He's going to challenge you a lot. And I didn't ask enough questions around that. What is he going to challenge me about? So the fear sunk in that I was coming into like someone with their gloves up and they're already beating me up without even knowing why he was going to beat me up.
Yeah.
They're not in good terms, so they're not speaking to each other. So I'm almost caught in this middle where I had never had a conversation with him. So it's a little bit tough to handle this one circumstance. I'm kind of stuck, and
So I think you already know what you need to do. So number one, just like we pre-qualify, we call people to find out what the objections are going to be when we get there. You need to call her back and find out more.
I need to pre-qualified both of them separately. It's two different it's like two different people here in one household.
Yes.
So she's not even willing to share his number with me. That's the difficult part. And one thing that I wanted to bring up is during the listing presentation, when you ask the question, okay, let's take a moment and review the questions I asked you over the phone. And I said so Mina is my role play partner, and I said, okay, you're selling this house because you're getting a divorce. Is that correct? Both Mina and I cringed at that question. Right, Mina? We were like, oh, I shouldn't have. It almost felt wrong. And I said, I got to ask David about that. Like,
what's wrong about that? Why did they tell you they were selling a house?
They're getting divorced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with you?
Because we felt it was uncomfortable because what if you have both of them sitting in front of you and you're just you're selling this house because you're getting a divorce. I mean, does it sound right?
Yeah.
And coming from a divorced person, I'm divorced, and I felt uncomfortable with that own question. I'm like, why am I uncomfortable with this? I've been through it, you know.
It's only uncomfortable when one person doesn't know about it and they find out when you ask the question.
That makes it, yeah.
Good one.
Listen, they
Yeah.
already told you, and your income is directly tied to your ability to have these difficult conversations. And you need to go in and own it and say, listen, I just want to review your motivation to get this home sold. You guys share with me that you're getting the home sold because you're separating and getting a divorce. Right? It's fine. They share that with you already. You didn't surmise that from context clues by seeing the house. You figured it out because they told you. I think that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they need an agent that's able to talk about it. They don't need an agent that's going to like tiptoe around it. Like factual, yeah, we're getting a divorce, help us.
And you've been through it, so you can speak to it more than I could speak to it, right?
Right.
The other thing is you got to call this wife, or you got to send a letter to the house, and you know she's already told you this guy's going to push you and question you and push back on you. I would send a letter or call and say, you know, before we get together, I actually need to speak to your husband. I need to pre-qualify him before I come out there, and there's some questions I have. But I also don't take every listing, and I need to sit down and have a conversation to make sure that this home is the right. Like, act as if you don't need it.
Yeah.
And qualify him just like you qualify her, and you know what both their concerns are. Because if you're just speaking to her concerns and he feels like he's being left out, he's not going to want to listen. You have to talk to both of them.
Yeah. And she's how she's worded yesterday. She left me a message.
Aren't they for sleeping?
I got that. Go ahead.
Okay. So she said, my attorney made me give him your number. You should be receiving a call from him soon. I will stay on it to make sure he calls you. And I didn't hear from him. I texted her, hey, I haven't heard from him. Can I have his number and I'll call him, you know? And she said, no, he'll call you when he's ready. So I didn't push any further because I'm just waiting for him to be ready, and I don't know when that's going to be.
But you want to make sure that you're ready. So you need to call her back and find out, who is this guy? What can you expect from him? Because when I'm meeting with a wife and I know I have to meet with a husband, my questions are, how do I win with your husband? How do I lose with your husband? And the wife will always tell me, don't bullshit him. Like, you got to tell him straight up. Because if he feels like you're trying to BS him, he's not going to work with you.
And you nailed it. Like, I have to be ready, because when I told Mina yesterday, I was so much more confident yesterday. And then when today came around, I kind of, and we were role playing, I was doing it. I did my comps, I did everything. Somewhere I lost it. I lost confidence, and you know, I love Mina. She's honest with me, and I love that about her. And she's like, I'm glad this was canceled because you need to practice more. You need to be ready.
So honestly, tell me, so we're in May, it's May 13th. The last
I have to jump off the call, but thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
This has been an eye-opener.
I have to go as well. This was wonderful.
Dave, you know, you're
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody who needs to drop off, drop off. I'm still going to record. You can go back and listen to it later, so don't feel obligated that you have to stay. But I want to ask Haza, how many times have you practiced listing presentation in the last 30 days? If you had to guess, what do you think it would be?
Well, given that we just finished Push, I practiced since Push was over. this is my second time practicing since we ended Push.
Okay. Why is that? Why do you think you stopped?
Because I've been just focused on either bold and calling the FSBOs. I'm not calling expireds. I'm not calling expireds, which I need to. But it just went in the back somewhere in my mind. But like when I say that today was like a huge eye opener for me, that I went, oh yeah, okay, I got the appointment. Now that was really bad. I need to work on that. You know, it's just as important. That's what I'm trying to say. You know,
Well, it might even be more important because a lot of times we're sabotaging getting the appointment because we're not ready for it.
Yeah.
I think it's even more important that we practice it. Like right now, someone could call me to go do a listing, and the only thing I would have to worry about is the comps.
Yeah.
I know I could go do that listing because I practice that presentation over and over and over again. And I think as part of our jobs, we just need to be doing it. Set it up on your calendar, time block it, several times a week, 3 or 4 times a week that you're doing it.
Yeah, so Mina and I are sticking to doing it and practicing, because I am practicing with other, people, the FSBO script that expired, but it's equally as important to practice the listing presentation. So Mina and I are committed now to practicing once a week with each other.
And you want a partner like Mina, because here's what she did. She didn't make it easy, and then she also told you, you need to work on this.
Yeah, I mean, I love Mina. I love Mina. She's my soul sister. That's what I call her. She will keep me real. She'll give me her advice, and I take it and I run with it.
Absolutely, and that's what we need. We all need role play partners that are going to actually push us and make us better, not just say, "Oh, great job, I would list with you." If you didn't do a good job, they need to tell you. Great.
Yeah.
Get back in there and practice some more. So, Mina, thank you for being a good role play partner.
And she secretly recorded it and sent it to me. I had no idea. I was like, "Oh hell no, I'm not watching this back." But she's like, "Listen to it back."
If I could send it to you, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'll leave it to her. It's with her.
She's like, "Did you record that?" I was like, "Hell no, no way." And she goes, "Well, I did." And I was like, "Ah."
Record them all. It makes you step your game up. You're being recorded, right? It's almost like that seller looking at you if you know it's being recorded. So I don't know if we necessarily got to a resolution on our mindset. However, I hope that you guys, I'm going to post that video. I hope that you guys watch that video over again about the negative talk. And Mike, I don't know if were you trying to say something, Mike?
He's talking.
No. I was saying that was a great video. And my other question.
Gotcha.
These are recorded too, right? On your.
Yeah, I'm going to post this. This is recorded. It'll be on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook page. So I recorded as well. I want us to focus on that. Like we're all great agents. If we don't get it together quickly, we're going to be getting, like James Shaw says, tons of bills in the mail, but no paychecks. We got to get some paychecks too. So think about that. Think about how we're talking to ourselves. We're our own worst enemy a lot of times with the negative self-talk. And we need those positive affirmations like Patty's. Like, I'm a listing magnet. Listings come to me. Did you guys hear how she said that? Like, I believe that, and I could feel that energy. And guess what? Listings are coming to her. So we need to be more positive for sure. Yeah. All right. So, hey, I appreciate the Wednesday evenings. It's always nice drinking with you guys and talking.
That was awesome.
Just chopping it up. I thought, Hazel, Amrita, thank you for joining. You do a great role play.
Yeah, that was.
I'm going to challenge you to come on every Wednesday. And if you come on this call, I promise you we'll do role play. And I know you like role play, and I know that you have some things that you're focusing on that you can get better at. So I'll make sure that we give you an opportunity to role play for more.
I'm definitely game for the role play because that's what I need more of.
Well,
I thought you were great. You were like a fighter. You got knocked down, but never knocked out. I just thought she was just tenacious, though. Yeah, that part. Yeah.
Log on tomorrow morning if you can at 8:45. We've been sharing like positive stories, and I think everybody got their stories out of their system. So I think we need to get back to more role play. So why don't we do some more role play tomorrow? So if you log on for the mindset call tomorrow, let's throw some objections out there and really get to closing for the appointment. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I will join tomorrow at 8:45.
Yeah, she was like, I will be there. We'll be looking for you. I'm gonna get out of here. I think I might try to go back down to the beach and get another sunset photo. The sunsets out here, guys, are like amazing.
Where are you?
Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, you lucky dog.
I took a photo last night. I'm gonna share it on Facebook maybe later on tonight or tomorrow morning of a sunrise. It's amazing.
We're gonna take a photo of you holding that turkey. Like...
Yeah.
If you have a picture of me holding turkey, it's gonna be a turkey wing with barbecue sauce on it. That's all you're gonna see from me. That's for sure.
David, you posted one. You were like looking at the water from above.
Yes.
It was like a magazine cover. It was unbelievable.
It's a place called Aquina, and so you drive there and you walk up on this deck.
Yeah, yeah.
You can actually go walk down there on the beach, but it was so windy and wavy, I didn't want to.
Right.
Have this top-down view, and the whole time I'm thinking, if I had my drone, the picture would have been amazing. Too windy for a drone, anyhow. But it's like you said, it's a magazine cover. I'm like, with my eye and taking this beautiful picture is freaking amazing, man.
It makes you feel peaceful just to look at it, and it's wowing. I mean, the water was kind of really like you could see through it almost from the friggin' picture.
It almost felt like I was in the Bahamas. How they have that. Blue
Yeah. That's how.
Actually, so yeah.
That's how it felt. Correct. Yeah.
It was beautiful. So I take these pictures and I love taking them and I love sharing it with you guys even more. And hopefully it brings you some gratitude and you guys appreciate Mother Nature and all the beauty that's out there.
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, David. Thanks, everybody. Good stuff.
And Mina, I feel like you wanted to say something.
Yes. Since you mentioned about Mother Nature and the video, I mean, I just remembered something. I'm sorry, I might be sounding a little unclear.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
So I had come across this story some time back where there's a tribe in New Zealand. If they want to they don't want a tree in some place, and they cut the tree. They just gather around the tree and they curse the tree. And you know what? In certain time, the tree dies.
Wow.
So what we say, it really, I mean, now it relates to the video. I mean, they did that. If you want to cut a tree, you don't cut it, you just curse it. You curse it, you curse it. And eventually, yeah.
It's kind of like in Bold when they showed us that whole video about ice forming. And when you say positive things, it makes these beautiful crystals. But if you are saying mean and hateful things, it's just deformed crystals. I don't know if you guys went through Bold when they were sharing that video, but it's the same thing. You know, words are extremely powerful, and the negative words are even more powerful. Yeah. All right. I'm out. Lana, go drink your water, and
thank you, David,
for your daughter tonight.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.